My name is Kayla McKee.
And my name is Mark Aguilar.
Today we'll be discussing an ethical dilemma presented in the article, Death in Pregnancy and How It Relates to You, Our Future Patients, and Our Practice.
This paper discusses a case involving Marlise Munoz, a 33-year-old woman who was 14 weeks pregnant. She was admitted to the hospital after collapsing from a pulmonary embolism. Munoz shortly became brain dead and got placed on life support after arrival, leaving her family to make a decision about the life of their loved one and her baby. Her husband and the rest of her family wished to have her removed from life support, knowing this was what Munoz wanted, but the hospital was required to keep her alive due to her pregnancy. After the family sued the hospital for going against their wishes, the court ended up ruling that the current Texas law didn't apply to a patient already declared dead, and the Munoz family was allowed to remove Marlise from life support.
The law that the hospital was operating under was the Texas Advanced Directive Law, which states that a person may not withhold cardiopulmonary resuscitation or certain other life-sustaining treatment from a person known to be pregnant. This situation infringes on the ethical principle of autonomy of not only Munoz as the patient, but her family as well. Healthcare autonomy is the right of patients to make their own decisions about their medical care regardless of the healthcare provider's suggestions. This Texas Advanced Directive Law invalidates any living will, meaning the family was not allowed the right to make decisions regarding the patient's end-of-life care. According to APTA Guide of Professional Conduct Principle 2C, patient autonomy is an important aspect of the Code of Ethics Principle Number 2, stating that one shall respect the patient's right to make decisions regarding plan of care. This hospital, in this case, is in violation of patient autonomy by disregarding the family and patient's decision for Munoz to be taken off life support.
The situation in this article also predicates errors in APTA core values, namely altruism, accountability, compassion, and caring. Altruism is the primary regard for or devotion to the interest of patients or clients, thus assuming the fiduciary responsibility of placing the needs of the patient or client ahead of the physical therapist's self-interest. First, the hospital failed to place the patient's needs above their own and what they're required to do, exhibiting a lack of altruism. Now, accountability is the active acceptance of the responsibility for the diverse roles, obligations, and actions of the physical therapist, including self-regulation and other behaviors that positively influence patient or client outcomes, the profession, and the health needs of society. The providers responsible for Munoz failed to respond to the family's goals and needs and did not make the achievement of the health goals of the patient the utmost priority, which goes against our core value, accountability. Compassion is the desire to identify with or sense something of another's experience, a precursor of caring. Caring is the concern, empathy, and consideration for the needs and values of others. Even though there is a law in place forcing the hospital to act against the wishes of the family, the providers made the active decision to side with the law instead of the Munoz family, showing a failure of compassion and caring.
As a future physical therapist, you may be wondering how this type of situation may apply to you. However, every single aspect previously mentioned, from ethical principles to APTA core values, is directly related to us. Patient autonomy is one of the main ethical principles that we try to uphold, and we should learn from this case to not infringe on our patients' rights to make decisions for themselves. The way to do this as a physical therapist is by first asking for patient consent, and then communicating our findings from the examination and giving them their prognosis. It is important to explain what you think should be done and why, explain the risks and benefits, and provide alternative options for the patient if the original option is not preferred. But most importantly, to maintain patient autonomy, regardless of what they choose, you must respect the patient's decision.